Glasgow, the largest city in Scotland and the third largest in the United Kingdom. Contained within its huge housing stock are 255 multi-storey blocks. Demolition by explosive methods has proved a solution to the problems posed by some unwanted tower blocks. Demolitions of this kind are both quick and spectacular. However, behind such a spectacle lie months of meticulous planning and coordination involving many people and organisations. Leading this team is the City Council's Building Control Department.
First of all, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much indeed for coming along to coordination meeting number 5. The progress on site, could the contractor perhaps give us an indication of what the progress on site is?
Yes, to date we've carried out 85% of all the drilling and the pre-weakening. Radio
telephone also means of me being able to speak to the control committee in the event of something going on.
We're holding a schools competition and the winner
newsletter will be issued next week. We have however a problem in that we've received a petition from a group of tenants in Farshad Street, and we'd like to arrange a meeting with them as soon as possible to discuss their concerns, which we think are about security, and we'd like the police to be in attendance at that meeting.
John, could you maybe bring us up to date as to what your arrangements are relating to that?
Do you mind if I go
to
what, Mr. Chairman? The police operation will be in 3 elements, and one is to maintain the exclusion zone. You can see there by these serrated lines, and the second element is the evacuation of all these dwelling houses here within the exclusion zone, and of course the control of traffic. One of the things that's of issue to the tenants once they are evacuated is the security of their houses and their belongings, their property in other words. And we have taken cognizance of that, and we're going to deploy police officers and police dogs in these areas here.
Although most of the multis provide satisfactory homes for the people and families who live in them, a small number have become, over time, impossible to let. Such blocks blight the surrounding houses and act as an obstacle to the Council's rolling renewal programme in some residential areas of Glasgow. If, after all alternative solutions have been examined, like refurbishment, change of use, alternative tenure, it is established that the building has no future, then City Housing propose demolition, such as here at 240 Roystonhill. After all the asbestos had been removed, a carefully thought-out programme of pre-weakening and drilling for more than 4,000 explosive charges was set in train. The formation of the opening serves 2 purposes: to weaken the building and to allow drilling in the plane of the walls. At Roystonhill, all load-bearing elements on specific floors are to be removed by a mixture of pre-weakening and explosives. The main blast floors were at every 4th storey, with secondary ones located halfway between. External walls were not blasted, but weakened to come down while containing the fly from the explosions within. Blasting takes place in 3 stages with short intervals between, starting at the outermost sections, working inwards to the centre. This causes the outer walls to move inward as the building falls, minimising the spread of rubble or footprint. If the explosives work correctly, gravity takes over and the building must fall. Blasting every 4th floor ensures that the 24-storey building does not become a 16-storey building and simply sit there. Pre-weakening is done exercising great care to ensure the building does not become unstable. Early morning on Sunday, 14th June 1992, the team charged with Glasgow's first ever explosive demolition anxiously assemble on the site. Key members of the coordinating committee also serve on the control committee on blowdown day itself. Their job is to ensure that everything that should happen does happen, and to prepare to tackle any crises which might crop up, including the unlikely possibility that the explosion doesn't work as planned. A little light relief cuts through the tension as blowdown approaches.
Good morning. As you know, 240 Roystonhill will be demolished today and your house will be evacuated. The police cordon has been set up around the area and you will be visited shortly and asked to leave.
Now, can I take you and your folk here and then I'll be with you in a second, right? Now, you've got your... You've got your vouchers?
Yep.
Right, here we are.
David, what's the
Right. You ready? You listening? Right, tag your Pims out there, right? There's shows, there's everything for you to play with, right? So that time goes in for you, right? There's a lunch voucher there, and your refreshment voucher for your voucher, right? 12 o'clock, big bang happens, you're back with Pims. It's as simple as that. There's an information desk there. Any problems, you're unsure about anything there, and that's the desk that will tell you up to date what's happening and all the rest of it.
The evacuation of 700 people from the nearby houses is carefully monitored and each close is made secure. The operation at Roystonhill involved close cooperation of some 270 people from Glasgow Housing, Building Control, the police and other emergency services. With some 20,000 tonnes of concrete and steel expected to come crashing down, it is imperative that the underground, gas, water, electricity. In this case, the nearest structure was a mere 6 metres away. Complex, sensitive monitoring devices were laid down to ensure vibration levels were not exceeded. As the hour approaches, demolition experts are dispatched to their locations. As the last residents depart, the exclusion zone is made secure. The City Council's Housing Department laid on a full range of catering and entertainment for those evacuees who had to temporarily leave their homes. Explosions of this kind attract a lot of attention from residents and other interested onlookers. But as the minutes ticked by, the demolition experts had to ensure the integrity of the exclusion zone and that protective works to adjoining properties were all in place. A Strathclyde police helicopter circles above, while lookouts check for any last-minute breaches of the tight security. As the final connections are made by the demolition men, the clock ticks on and on to high noon and the blowdown itself.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Immediately after the blowdown, checks are carried out and the big clean-up begins. Remarkably, just one window was cracked following the blast. The all clear is sounded and a success story is reported by the blowdown team to the United Kingdom's press corps. Clearly, controlled explosive demolition is the safest way of dealing with unwanted tower blocks. Here at Call Place, Germiston, this 17-storey block is showing the same characteristics as its close neighbour at Roystonhill and is also programmed for demolition. 170 families will have to be evacuated, but experience of Roystonhill has provided a rule book. In spring 1993, another multi, this 19-storey no fines block in Castlemilk, dating from 1967, will be demolished. Its explosive demolition is part of an ongoing strategy of radical improvements devised by City Housing to transform Castlemilk. Undoubtedly, though, the biggest demolition project planned by the Building Control Department will centre on Queen Elizabeth Square in Gorbals. The square comprises two 180-feet-high towers containing 21 stories of apartment homes. The buildings are raised on stilts, supporting an incredible 60,000 tonnes of concrete and steel. The blocks have no part in comprehensive plans to remodel the once notorious Gorbals and Hutchison town, so demolition, probably by explosion, is the solution. If it is, it will be the biggest deliberate controlled explosion of a building in Europe since the Second World War, presenting those involved with a hideously complex operation, but one which Glasgow's Building Control Department believe can be implemented successfully.